She's 17, he said slowly. My only daughter. You are admirable, but admiration doesn't build a home. Tunde stepped closer. I wasn't trying to take her from you. No, Mr. Eby said, stepping back. But he forgot that people like you only get to watch, not reach. The door closed. Tunde stood in front of it for a long time, long enough for the wind to shift, long enough to feel the invisible weight behind that single word. Watch. He was done watching. The morning after Tunde stood on Mr. Eby's porch, something in him shifted. He no longer moved like someone hoping not to be seen. He didn't avoid gazes. He didn't lower his head. For the first time in a long time, he walked through the center of the market, spine straight, arms steady. And though he didn't speak a word, people noticed. Some stared, some smirked, some stepped aside just slightly. But Tunde didn't care. He had been silent all his life, but silence had not protected him. He began to write again, but not in secret. He bought loose sheets from the stationery vendor and scribbled lines in charcoal and ink. He left folded verses near waterways, slipped them into baskets at the market, tacked them to tree trunks. They were not poems of love this time. They were poems of truth. I am the boy who works until his palms crack, while your sons practice their speeches. I am the brother of hunger, and still I have never stolen a single thing, not even a glance I was not given. Do not tell me my silence is humility. It was survival. Some of the elders shook their heads, saying he was stirring trouble. But others began to murmur. Younger boys gathered near the back of the school, whispering the lines. Market women paused to read the poems before tossing them into their baskets. Even the Imam was said to have quoted a stanza during his Friday sermon, calling it a voice of the grand rising. Tunde never signed the poems. He didn't need to. They knew. One afternoon, Amara came to the hill above the stream. The Tunde was shaping a pot. Her face was pale from tension. Her hands clenched. She had a letter. My father is transferring, she said. He's already spoken to the district. We'll leave next week. Tunde said nothing, just kept turning the clay slowly in his palm. She looked down. I don't want to go. You should, he replied, after a long silence. You have a future there. I have this. He shook his head. You have me, Amara, but I can't offer you anything else. You don't get to decide what's enough for me. Her voice cracked. She unfolded it later. He says, I'm too young to know what love is, but I know what fear looks like. I've seen it in his eyes since he read your words. Tunde glanced at her. He's not afraid of me. He's afraid of the mirror. Amara stepped closer. I'm staying, she whispered. I told him, I'm not going back. Tunde's chest tightened. He won't allow it, he said. I don't need his permission. For a long time, neither of them moved. The pot turned slowly on the wheel. A bird caught somewhere above them. and in the distance, a drum beat faintly, practice for the approaching New Yam festival. Then Amara leaned in and kissed his cheek. Her lips warm but with dust and fire. "I don't need a palace," she whispered. "Just a place where I'm free." But freedom was never free. That night, someone slashed the ropes of Tunde's water drum. He found the porch shattered by the doorway at dawn. Shards scattered like teeth across the red dust. No note, no name, but the message was clear. Stay where you belong. He said nothing to his mother, who was too frail now to handle more grief. He said nothing to his siblings, who looked at him with quiet fear. He swept off the pieces, rebuilt the stand, returned to the market that same day. But as he set up his stall, Dapo was waiting, leaning against the post, arms folded, his face wearing the smug sanctity of someone who believed the ground he stood on would never shake. "You should know when to stop," Dapo said. Tunde looked him in the eye. "I should have started sooner." That evening, a new poem appeared on the shrine wall, bold and scrawled in firm black ink. "They broke my water, not my wheel. They shattered my pot, but I am not clay. You may steal my verses, but you will never wear my name." The next morning, 3 more boys posted their own verses beside it. And by the time the festival drums began to beat in the village square, a quiet revolution had already taken root. It had no leader, only voices. The New Yam festival arrived with fire, not just from the dancing torches or the cracked charcoal pits beneath roasting yams, but from something older, deeper, anger dressed in bright cloth. It was the kind of day where beauty felt sharp, like the village had polished itself too perfectly in preparation for judgment. Color bloomed on every woman's wrapper, every child's beaded wrist, every plate stacked high with peppered goat meat. Drummers lined the square. There the sat in rows of carved chairs beneath a canopy of palm leaves. The local radio man had even come with his dusty speaker, ready to broadcast songs between speeches. And at the center of it all, Amara. She wore a simple blue iro and buba, no jewels, no head tie, but her presence drew eyes. Her father stood beside her, rigid, jaw clenched like a man ready for war in a place of celebration. He hadn't spoken to her since she told him she wasn't returning to the city. Not really, just instructions, dead-eyed warnings, ultimatums cloaked in fatherly concern. She ignored them all. Across the square, Tunde stood in the shade of a palm, sleeves rolled up, arms crossed. He had no new clothes for the festival, no fine sandals or talking drums, but he had brought his poems, freshly written verses copied neatly on stiff paper. He hadn't planned to hand them out, but then Dapo arrived. Thick buba, gold-rimmed sunglasses, laughed too loud for the occasion. He greeted the elders one by one as if auditioning for their approval. Then, with the confidence of someone who thought the world would bend, he approached Amara. Everyone watched. He pulled a small box from his agbada. A hush rolled across the crowd. Even the drummers faltered. Amara's lips parted slightly, not in surprise, but in disbelief. Tunde stepped forward. It wasn't jealousy. It was instinct. Dapo opened the box. A ring, flashy, elegant, thoughtful. I believe in second chances, he said loudly, voice crafted for an audience. This village deserves a union that builds bridges. I said no. Amara interrupted, gasped, soft, sharp, the kind that cut through respect. Dapo's face stiffened. You should be careful how you speak. And you should be careful where you stand, she said, stepping back. The silence fell so deep. Even the trees seemed to still. It was Tunde who broke it. He walked into the open space slowly. No announcement, no pretense, just a folded piece of paper in his hand. He turned toward the elders, toward the crowd. Then he read. They said I should stay quiet because my hands are calloused, because my robe leaks, and my father left too soon. But his silence with strength. Then lions would whisper, I am the son of a woman who stitched with trembling fingers. I am the brother of boys who learned hunger like prayer. I am the man who loved and was told love was not mine to have. But I speak now, not because I was given permission, but because I am done asking. For a moment, no one clapped. No one moved. Then a girl at the back, barely 10, began to clap. Tentatively. Then her mother. Then others. Not loud, but steady, until even the elders could not ignore it. Mr. Ibe stepped forward, face taut. This is a festival, not a forum for personal theatrics. It's a festival for yam, yes, Amara said, a voice firm. But what's yam if we're not free to eat it with the ones we choose? Dapo sneered. You think this makes him worthy? No, Amara said. He was always worthy. You just never saw him. A man's voice cut through the crowd. It was the baker, one silent, always observing. Let a voice speak. Another voice. Let her choose. Then the unexpected. The man stood. Truth has its place, even in festival. Dapo stepped back. Mr. Ibe did not, but he said nothing more, just turned and walked away. Later that evening, Tunde and Amara sat by the stream, legs dipped in the water, yams roasting nearby. You didn't have to speak, she said softly. He smiled. I didn't speak for them. He turned to her. I spoke for us. The stars blinked awake above them. No more hiding, no more whispers. And though the road ahead was still uncertain, it was theirs. Together. In the days that followed the New Yam Festival, Olanji did not erupt. There were no riots, no public scolding, no decree from the elders forbidding the girl from the schoolhouse to be seen with a potter's son. Instead, there was a silence that felt like something holding his breath. People returned to their stalls. Goats wandered the road. The church bell rang. The mosque called its prayers. But in the corners of the market, otherwise, Beneath the trees, something had shifted. Tunde's poems still appeared, less often now, but when they did, they no longer trembled with grief. They carried something stronger: hope. We do not need permission to plant our names in the soil. We only need the courage to grow where no one tells us to. The elders stopped speaking of the incident, some out of embarrassment, others out of strategy. Mr. Evie, once the proud lion of the schoolhouse, requested a quiet assignment 2 towns east. No farewell gathering, no public word of it. He left at dawn. Dapo lingered for a while longer, still loud, still confident, but his shadow seemed smaller now. His proposal, the ring, the rejection, was already legend. Mothers whispered it as cautionary tale. Young men has proved that lineage meant less when the heart spoke first. And in the midst of it all, Tunde stayed, not just in Olanji, but in himself. He did not chase the city. He did not apologize. Instead, he built. He expanded his store, taught his youngest brother how to balance clay. When his school reopened, he began teaching the reading class under the mango tree, using old books donated by the librarian Amara once knew. Children gathered, cross-legged, to hear stories they had never read before. And Amara? She did not return to the city. She moved into a modest room in her aunt's compound by the western edge of the village. She helped her uncle with books, started a girls' writing club, and walked through town without lowering her eyes. Some still whispered behind their wrappers. Some would always, but no one dared stop her now. One evening, months later, they took her back to the hill behind the stream, the one where dreams first found voice. He had cleared the space, leveled the earth, and there staked into the ground with twine were rough sketches for a workshop. A real one. Words, shafts, a teaching spades. Amara looked at him, her eyes filling before she could stop them. You're really doing it. I have to, he said. People are watching now. She took his hand. They always were. They stood there as the sun bled over the horizon, soaking the land in gold. Are you scared? She asked. Tunde looked at her, at the space, at the future, every day. She smiled. Me too. Then he handed her a small paper. Not a poem, a letter, folded carefully, cleanly. Open it later, he said, when it's quiet. She kissed the sheet. I already know what it says. He smiled. You don't. Later, alone in a room, Amara opened it. It was simple. 8 words, written in the same neat hand that had once whispered heartbreak onto stolen pages. Let's build our lives like we built this hill. No rings, no announcement, no promises, keyed in gold. Just a quiet declaration of love rooted in earth, labor, and truth. The kind that would not ask for permission. The kind that would last.